You wouldn't be able to get through the game without using magic heavily. You might, maybe if I had ground up more, I would have done better. You know, gotten the minions a ton of gear and whatnot. Kind of like damn my minions, how well they're kitted out now, kind of thing. In stuff better than hero gear. Yeah, it's nice. But yeah, basically, if you do an Overlord 3, they have to go back to an Overlord 1 style magic system. Basically, base it off of Overlord 1 more than Overlord 2. And they should fully develop the systems, fully expand on them. Overlord 2 does try and have you own a village. People make gear for you if you just take over it. I don't know what they do if you just start calling them, but beyond them just dying. But you know, they do something with it, but they still don't go far enough. I would actually like almost a management aspect to it, of you controlling it, you actually being the Overlord. Maybe you could assign someone else to guard it, you know, to manage it for you. But if you're more of a micromanagey Overlord, you know, you can do it yourself. You know, maybe have different people, like a selection of different people to look over it with the different characteristics of how they manage villages. You know, that kind of thing. You know, like, just expand on it. Give the option of manually doing it yourself or having someone else do it. That kind of thing. And it would be a much better thing. At least in my opinion. Certainly, you know, it just... Basically my issue is they brought up ideas of you owning a place and did nothing with it. They just completely dropped it. It was basically a throwaway line. As I said, there's no difference between you owning Spree and it being burnt to the ground. Same with Heaven's Peak. Same with the Evernight. In fact, Evernight can burn down completely the moment I leave, and it wouldn't change anything. Well, there's an Evernight. There's a point here in Golden Hills, and there's a point in, and then there's an Evernight Abyss. But ignoring once those two are gone, Evernight can completely burn down. You can't take over it in any way. You can't do anything with it, you know? I suppose the elves they weren't kind of as beaten down by us as the Spree people were, but you get what I'm saying. You may own places, but there's absolutely no benefit to owning them. They may as well not exist. So it's just kind of disappointing. They brought up a cool idea and didn't run with it. They just kind of stumbled and fell over onto a spike. But anyway, tangent aside. Well, not a tangent, but it's a criticism. I'm levying at a game that I actually do like. I'm criticizing because I care. Like I said, if they do an Overlord 3, I hope to bring it back to Overlord 1 style, but develop this stuff more. Excuse me. So here's another event. Snails appearing and being burnt to death. Not much of an event, you may say, and for that you will be immensely right. Okay, I'm going to send back 20, send back 1. I get 1 E. Run. That did surprisingly well. Gotta be honest with you. That did surprisingly well. Why did you jump into the flames? You were a bloody idiot. If I cared enough, I could probably get a blue down there. But since the guy is still there, the blue probably wouldn't survive. Damn it, I missed out on a green life source. Technically 2, because I have the Harvester Helm. Okay. Come on, go charging. You, come with me. Charge. I go right in front of the... There we go. It's on his head. Stabbing the fuck out of it. And now it's back on. Recall. Beautiful. And I have no idea why. Since the Overlord whiffs his left hand, I end up doing so too. I don't know, I just, like, come on! I like, it's almost as if, you know, when people are playing a racing game, and they start, like, leaning heavily to one side or the other, as if somehow that will help their car lean. It's basically the same principle. I would imagine, anyway. Recall. Reds are idiots. They try and destroy things right through other things. It doesn't work, but they keep trying anyway. You gotta admire the determinism, but the determination. Determinism is something completely different and not quite as good. Ah, damn. Keep confusing the two. But you gotta admire the determination, is what I'm saying. Okay. No need for me to grab nearly this many, but whatever. Okay. Just do this. And we'll start sending them back. Oh yes, I brought up gargoyles earlier, and I never fully went into the thing for it. I talked about how, like, it was, you know, strange for what my recollection of some Disney stuff, in that it actually outright showed, you know, a bit of blood. It was only a small bit, but you know they did. It's surprising, just for Disney. Even though I then brought up, you know, Quasimodo and whatnot, and the boner that threatened Paris. But anyway, the story of it is the let me just take a quick drink. There was a clan of gargoyles in Scotland. They were the guardians of this castle, and basically the deal between them and the humans there was the gargoyles would guard during the night, the humans would guard the gargoyles during the day. Because the gargoyles would turn to stone. And say if they lost an arm the previous night, that arm would be completely regrown by the time of the next day. Also, these units are nearly fully geared up, by the way. They're nearly at 400%, which is the maximum. It's beautiful. They'll be fully healed. But they're completely vulnerable during the night. They can easily be slaughtered. Let me actually just pop over here from... No, we'll do this first. They can easily be killed. Sorry, not during the night, during the day, when they're stone. When they're stone, they can be easily slaughtered. Because of, well, the fact that, you know, they can't defend themselves, and it's... You know, you get a nice... You know, like, you know, you get a sledgehammer, you can take them out. And they can't do anything to stop it. But there's a lot of anti-gargoyle sentiment. Some of them, some people, like the captain of guard respects them, but because of that, he gets a ton of shit. So basically, the gargoyles end up betrayed, and most of their kin slaughtered. No, that wasn't part of the betrayal. That was an inadvertent thing of it. The betrayer and the well, remember how I said the castle was attacked? It was attacked by Vikings. The Vikings were forced off, and the person betraying them, betrayed the castle, betrayed them to the Vikings, helped them get in. They took out the gargoyles, but some survived. 2 had been lured away. 4 others have been sent down to the castle basements because they were acting the bollocks. So, due to misunderstanding and a few other stuff, they all get turned to stone. Well, the survivors get turned to stone. Well, survivors except for the main guy, Goliath. He asked to be turned to stone to stay with his brethren.
The Arcanium mine is overrun. We did not even have time to save the smelter.
What is up with their voice? I understand when they're speaking psychically that there's weird distortion, but when they're talking to you, it's so weird. It couldn't be an accent. It's just like Yeah, it's like, ghost. They've almost like like an inherent ghostly moan to their voice. It's very weird. But there was a stipulation to the curse that turned them to, unlike normal gargoyles turning stone. This was a day or night they'll be stone until the castle rose above the clouds. Q Riker, the guy Riker from the guy from Star Trek, Next Generation, is the actor for him is playing a different character in Gargoyles, Xanatos. He has the castle moved brick by brick over to on top of his skyscraper in New York, and the gargoyles awake for the first time in 1,000 years. For 1,000 years they wake up, and Xanatos has Goliath's mate girl. I'm not sure in the relationship they were together, but yeah, I'm not sure how to express it. Who goes now by the name Demona. Gargoyles typically aren't named. So it's surprising that she has a name, but that's explained at a later stage why she does. And she is voiced by Counselor Troy. There's another character brought in later who's voiced by I think the guy who does Data. And there's a few writers on it who worked on both Star Wars and Star Trek. It's quite it's small world and all that. It's funny. Okay, move away. Move away. Hey up. But basically the series is about them, I'm terrible describing it because it's been so long since I watched it, but from what I can remember of it, a lot of it's about them, getting used to the new world they're in, and as well as a lot of flashbacks to like the world they used to be in. There's also plenty of magic and whatnot. It's not just solely them as magic and that one guy who goes and curses. I think they go to Avalon for a while in the later series. So yeah, it's pretty good. And I just remember one of the few things I remember exactly well from SF Debris' thing of it was just that the maturity which they handle different topics and storyline techniques they do and whatnot. So yeah, basically I'm just saying, if that kind of thing sounds interesting to you, check it out. I think it has 2 seasons, and a continuation in comics, I do believe. So yeah. I didn't watch the whole of 2 seasons. I ended up watching, I think, all of 1 and most of 2, but I didn't get to finish. Okay, let's wander over here. Just if they're bringing anything back, I want to minimize the chances of them just running into the flames. They're minions. They're absolute idiots. But, yeah, basically, if an animated show, if the Gargoyles sounds interesting to you, I'm about checking it out. It is actually a rather good series. And actually talking about it's making me want to go play it myself. Watch it myself. To be honest, I'm nervous of that basically I didn't describe it well. But basically, it's from what I can remember of it is a lot of them learning about the new world they're in and trying to find a place in it, kind of. With a lot of flashbacks and to the past and whatnot. I'm trying to think. It's like there was a flashback to show how Goliath came to be in charge. There's another gargoyle there, Hudson, I think he takes the name. They took the different ones took the names of beyond Goliath and Demona. The rest took names after different New York places because to name themselves after. Like one's called Broadway. I think it was Hudson. He he used to be the leader, and he stepped down after basically the person he was bodyguarding ended up getting poisoned, and he couldn't protect them. I think he was able to. I can't actually remember the exact details of the fight, but he wasn't able to stop the poisonous dart that hit him. So yeah. So he stepped down after dealing with the person who sent the poisonous dart. Then left Goliath to take over. But this is all interspersed between an episode of him and Goliath dealing with a particular nemesis of theirs. I don't want to say who because that's a spoiler. It's like Goliath gets injured, and Hudson or whoever has to guard him until he until daylight, where Goliath will be fully healed and it'll be 2-on-1. And it's I just vaguely remember that, mainly because I saw the SFD briefing on it earlier. But yeah, it's like, sorry, since it's been ages since I've watched it, and I don't have like the exact details and detailed thing on it. I feel that I'm describing it wrong or poorly or whatnot. But basically, it's a good animated show. There's, I'm actually really want to go watch it myself now. Also, Macbeth turns up. So yeah. That's one villain, and it's the historical Macbeth. It's a long story and full of spoilers, but he's basically immortal because of reasons. He's bound to a particular character, and so he can only die if she dies by his hands, and she can only die if he dies by her hands. Well, I think they basically have to kill each other, basically. So yeah, bit awkward. I need to just get some, I just need to get some reds here. So, ooh, you're still with me. You shouldn't be with me. No, you go. What? So what was I going? Ooh, also you can see a ton of slugs down there. You can try and go that way, but it's not a good idea. There's a lot of slugs. They're very dangerous. You can try and hack your way through, but the moment you get to the other side, you're going to trigger a big, a mama slug, and it's going to be an issue because where you are and where your minions likely are, it's better to go around the long way. So anyway. Oh, okay. Those are sideboards, and that's a bit of both. All right. It just looked weird to me from the distance. I couldn't actually make out what it was, because my eyes weren't cooperating. So what was I gonna say? Remember, actually, SF Debris was saying in his review that the Macbeth in the play Macbeth is actually rather inaccurate to the original character. Apparently, Shakespeare had a source he had a source to base Macbeth off of. The source wasn't particularly accurate. So yeah, it's just interesting. SF Debris went so far as to say that the version of Macbeth in Gargoyles was apparently more accurate than the version of him in Macbeth. So that's something to hear. Yeah, you don't kind of expect to hear that, I'm not sure if it's true, but that's what he was saying. Recall. Come on, guys. Okay, apparently none of them want this. That's understandable. I'll take one with me.